today, and we have none other than Mr. Godswill Umunakwe. Mr. Godswill Umunakwe. And I'll just quickly, go through his profile. It's a long one, but I've just decided to do a bit of like a summary, of who he is. He's an alumnus of Pan-African University, formerly LBS, AMP, associate member of Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, Nigeria Institute of Management, and Certified Pension Institute of Nigeria. He started his career in the insurance sector, working in different departments of over 3 insurance companies that spanned over 5 years across marine, underwriting, general business, and business development. He ventured into banking that spanned about 6 years in Treasury Division of Broadbank, now Union Bank PLC, and Citizen Bank Group, where he was exposed to treasury marketing and management for non-banking financial institution, credit analysis, financial institution, and management of stockbrokers accounts. Then he left in 2008 from Greenwich Trust Bank, an investment banking group, to manage an asset management firm, Venerate Capital Limited, as an executive director, and on a leave of absence to rejoin Greenwich Trust Bank Limited team on a special re-engineering project of the investment banking group as project director, where he was involved in conversion of the investment banking firm to getting a banking license as a merchant bank. He's ventured into asset management, and yes, his profile is quite long, quite intimidating. He has attended many corporate restructuring engineering courses, both locally and internationally. And he is married to his sweetheart, UC, and they are blessed with 4 angels. And he loves to dance. He is an author, the author of Financial Intelligence book, Kicking the Rat Race. So with so much joy and excitement in the House of Saviors today, I would like us to welcome Mr. Godswill Umunakwe. Yes, even as he takes the stage to take us through what we have today. He's going to be speaking, then I will be asking him some questions based on what he says today. Thank you so much, sir. So good to have you this afternoon from this side of the world.
Thank you, Ayo. If you can hear me, first, I want to thank you guys for having me again. Sincerely speaking, if you had told me that you're going to be reading out this profile, sincerely speaking, I would never have sent it. I thought you needed it for documentation purpose. So I will enjoy everybody in the audience to discount everything I read. My humble name is Godswill. I am just privileged to be here to share with you some of the few experience that we have had in our small years of living in this side of the world. And I'm trusting that in the few minutes that I will have the opportunity to serve you guys, I may have 1 or 2 people who may find the gibberish I'm going to be talking about very useful. I don't take it for granted that I'm here, and I'm happy that I've been called up to just share a few of the experiences that we have had in the past. Okay, thank you very much. And usually, I don't consider this a lecture because there is nothing I'm going to be talking about here. So it's not going to be a disrupting discussions. It's not going to be something that's going to be, wow, what he just said. Nope. I may be able to just reinforce some of the things you already know. I may need to rearrange the syntax of things you have had before in a different mode. But if you think deeply, you will discover they are not new to you. Okay. So, Ayo, thank you for having me. Praise. I'm happy to be here. Usually, I would like this to not to take like a lecture mood. It's normally going to be more of a question and answer. That's the model that I'm more comfortable with, as against lecturing. But I'm going to give us an introduction of what this is all about. I have been doing a research in the couple of years now, and it's formed part of the some of the focus that I have been doing, and helping a lot of clients, individuals, organizations in my restructuring model to discover the best way to create Nigeria inclusive, because I have come to discover that wealth creation, whilst is universal, but the patterns are quite customized. What may create wealth in Africa, if you apply that in, for instance, America, where I'm more comfortable with, it may not work. For instance, in America, you have a lot of credit system that exposes individuals to have cash available to them. But in African context, that's not there. When you're broke, you're broke. So it changes the paradigm for you. But in America, if you're broke, you're not really broke, because there are other helplines available for you to use and do some other things. So that's it. So one of that I spoke to the organizers earlier, I would like to share what I call the IPO of wealth creation. The IPO of wealth creation is just an acronym, IPO, not from the capital raising side, because as an investment banker, I've been involved in tons of IPOs. But this is not about IPO in capital raising. This IPO is an acronym where I means input, P means process, O means output. As a matter of fact, I consider it that I plus P equals to output. What does that mean? Wealth is an output. Wealth is the result. Wealth is what you see. This guy, that's the result. Man, this guy is very rich. That's an output. You have seen it. He's rich. But what a lot of people don't really bother about, Ayo, by the way, I'm just making an introduction. After this introduction, you will need to ask all the questions so that I provide the answer. What people don't really bother about is, what did this person put, the inputs that was on the process to create this output? I'm going to draw us back to some of the things I'm a student of history. I'm a very big on documentaries. I'm very big on documentaries. I'm very big on research. I'm very big on interviews. I'm very big on behind the scene moment of individuals. I'm very big on what are you doing that people are not seeing, because people will see the wealth. People will see the account statements. People will see the cars. People will see the houses. But there are so many things around that individual that nobody sees. Meanwhile, that is what has generated the wealth you see. Let me take it again. People will see the wealth. People will see the outcome, the cars, the houses. Sometimes people will see your portfolio, your equity, your assets, your money market instruments, the business you have created, the business you have invested. But what you do not see is what happened to that individual in his room when he or she is wearing a boxer short. What is he thinking about? Who is he? Nobody sees that. And that's the discussion we're going to have today, because that's actually where the wealth is created. And that's the boring side of things. And that's where a lot of people are not interested in talking about it. In the last couple of years, I've been watching videos of athletes. One of the ones that has interested me in recent times is one man I love was know very well, Mike Tyson, Anthony Joshua. I'm a fan of boxing, not the one that will kill, definitely. I'm a fan of boxing. But let me tell you what happens here. Anthony Joshua has a match in the next couple of weeks, and he's taken about 8 months of preparation for a 36 minutes match. Taking about 8 months to prepare for a 36-minute match. I can tell you 99.9% of the people who are going to tune in into that match are coming to see the outcome of 36 minutes. But people like us, I am more excited about what he has been doing behind the scene before the 36 minutes. That's why I'm more interested. So I'm looking at him, Usyk, who is his opponent. Oh, by the way, I think Anthony Joshua is the opponent. Usyk has won the match the first time, so he has all the belts. So Anthony Joshua is the opponent. Usyk is the main guy. I'm more interested in what are they doing 8 months at the time, because 36 minutes is already late in the day. It's late in the day because in that 8 months, that is a defining moment that will create the desired outcome or undesired outcome. Now, wealth is a desired outcome. Poverty outcome. So the question is, if you're listening to me today and you're not quite where to be in your wealth journey, I may ask you, can we backtrack a little bit on your 25 years of life, 30 years of lifestyle, maybe 40 years, maybe 45 years? Can we begin to that place is what lies on the outcome you see today. You know, I have been teaching financial intelligence in Lagos Business School for the last 12 years. But really, I've come to realize that who you become is what will determine whether you can or not. I have been in classes where I've taught people for many years, and I found that the results that we are creating is not more than 5% of people who have attended. 5% of people who have attended over time have actually practiced and doing what we have taught. And I'm wondering what's going on. And that's where the aha moment came into my mind to say, look, there's a research that I need to do. And that's the outcome of that research is what I'm going to be talking about today in the next couple of minutes to say, look, some of them are good news and some of them are bad news. You know, let me start with the bad news. The input in life is a function of what informations are you getting? Like the one you're hearing now. Trained you. Who was your dad? Who was your mom? Did any of them play any role in giving you the foundation for your wealth? If you're like me, who will wake me up at about when it was not necessary to wake a child up by 5 to go and join her in
Hello, Mr. Godswill. I think your network is a bit poor. Am I correct?
Up the shop.
Hello, sir.
Oh, no, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
We lost you for about maybe 3 minutes. It was slurring. We couldn't pick what you were saying.
Okay, what has happened is that it's raining heavily where I am. So I've had to move from my Wi-Fi now to my phone because the Wi-Fi, I don't know what is about rain, DSTV and Wi-Fi. I don't know. So I'm currently talking to you guys now using my,
I said maybe you can backtrack a bit so that we
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
I wouldn't know where I lost you guys.
I think we lost you when you were talking about how did our
where did you lose me? Was it the story?
Yes, when you were about telling the story, you were talking about what role did our parents play, you know?
Okay, I was defining the input we have in life. So I was saying our upbringing plays a lot of role in that journey for wealth. The kind of people we're hanging out with, the information we got from our parents, and I was talking about my own parents. My mom played a lot of role in my journey for wealth because of some of the adjustments she had to make in my life. For instance, I mean, till dates, I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and then I will stay awake till 6, whatever it is I'm doing, because 7 or 8, when my mom will wake me up to prepare so that I can go to get to the shop, and then from shop I'll go to school. And then I get back from school and I join her back in the shop. And that has been what I have come to live with over time. Those are some of the building blocks that define how your wealth do today, and then begin to recreate a new lifestyle for wealth creation. So let me get back to my journey for documentaries, and then our 36 minutes events that we'll see on the day. Let's bring it back to wealth creation. I go to class and I tell people, you got to save money. You got to the people I'm talking to are not saving, and they are not able to save. So you're wondering, why are they saving? They're not saving because the operating system that run in their motherboard, in terms of their mindset, in terms of their character, is not allowing that to happen. It's not allowing that to happen. Because in life, you will find out that what you had or saw consistently will form part of your paradigm and behavioral or belief systems. And your belief system forms your character. And your character forms your behavioral pattern. And your behavioral pattern, consistently done, what you would call a habit, will form your outcome. So what am I saying? Your journey for wealth creation is a function of the habits on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, not on a daily basis. Your habits, second by that habit, it becomes difficult. And that's why I tell a lot of people, wealth creation is regimental. Wealth creation is boring. Let me use that word. It's boring because you're going to find yourself having to do things that are not, part of my French, that are not sexy, things that are not acceptable around you. I mean, imagine how it looks like when you earn 100,000 naira. And somebody's saying, live on less than you make. As a matter of fact, depending on where you are in your journey, if you're just starting work or you've been working for 10 years, sorry, I'm an advocate of saving 40% of your salary. I don't care how much you make. I don't care. I've had a situation where people come and say, the money is not in love. I said, the money is not in love because you are living a bourgeois lifestyle. If you're living in an apartment and your apartment is taking close to 30, 40% of your earning, then leave the apartment, go somewhere else. I'm an ardent believer that some of us are not yet qualified for. And then we consider best of schools that if you analyze it technically is a waste. We're not qualified for them. And then I tell you, if you can backtrack a little bit and check where all that is coming from, you will discover to go into that kind of mental waste of consumerism is driven by your environment. It's driven by how you grew up, driven by your friends, driven by family. Some of us live in a very strong competitive family where I must outdo myself at time. And I'm saying, that's okay. But the question is, who's paying? So Ayo, I don't know whether you have the right now because I want to attack the question one foundation of what this class is all about. This class is about understanding that wealth creation is not an income problem automatic of a behavioral pattern. It's not a result of how much you earn. It's not a result of my income. No, it's a result of your behavioral pattern. So if we begin to look at step by step of how you became that type of person with that behavioral pattern, we are 50% on our way to solving while a lot of us are living an average life in our wealth journey. Solve that problem. Because now, so I can look at them one by one from the perspective of an IPO, not
maybe if you
necessarily from the perspective of how
if you put off your video, let's see if that would work.
Put off.
Yes, because it's still breaking and we're finding it difficult.
Okay, well, are you serious?
Yes.
I don't know whether I should go back to the Wi-Fi. I have a my Wi-Fi that has been going off and on because of rain. I'm not sure. I still used this platform to speak yesterday at LBS because I had a class at LBS yesterday, and I still used this platform.
It's better now that the video is off.
To speak. Can you also let them chat me up before I continue, because we're about to enter into the meat of.
Yes.
But it just keep going off and on. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Do you have any question right now before I continue? Okay.
Yes, the question I actually wanted to ask you, is it in? Oh, I think it's off. It's off. So maybe we just wait for him. You know, he was talking about the input, the process, and the output. And the question I actually wanted to ask him, which he has started answering, is actually, what are the things that we really need to put in? And I think it started with we checking ourselves, looking at, you know, our background, the things that make us up, the things that make us to have the disposition that we have to, okay, I need to, please, can you unmute him? Please, can you unmute Mr. Will? Admin, please, can you do that?
Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, we can hear you. I think we've lost you again. We can't really hear you.
I am. I don't know. Hello, Ayo.
Yes, I can hear you.
I am heavily frustrated because the last class I took, if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
The last.
Oh no, it's disrupted now.
I was in America when I took that class, and we never had this class. But since I came back here, I've just been around 2 weeks in Nigeria, and look at what frustrations we are going through. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ayo, I'm heavily frustrated. I've just been 2 weeks in Nigeria, and it's been hell.
I know.
It's been hell, seriously. The last class I took, I was in America when I took that class, and I never had this kind of challenge. But since I got back here, I don't know. I mean, I have 3 networks here sitting down here. I don't know what else to do. Seriously, it's quite frustrating. But if is the reality we have, the network issue. I'm using Smile Internet, and I'm using Glow, I'm using MTN. I don't know, 3 of them all at the same time, but what can I do? What can I do? So do you have the questions now, Ayo?
Yes, I have one, which I guess you've started talking about. I wanted to ask that what are the behind the scenes involved in building our financial war chest? And I think you started, talking about that, starting with us as individuals, how we grew up, the things we are exposed to, the kind of environment, that we found ourselves. We started talking about that. And I just wanted to find out, do we have more, those things that we need to impute, and then the process before we have the output, which is wealth at the end of the day.
Okay, one of the major behind the scenes is what are you listening to? Because you need to first become before you can create wealth. If you have not grown in the mindset, it's almost in times it's difficult for you to save, because some people will tell you, once there is money in my account, my hand will start scratching me. I don't know whether I've had this kind of, I have money, I just want to shop. Once I have money, I just want to buy something. Once I have money, I just want to do this, because you haven't been rewired. Let me use that word, rewiring. A rewiring process needs to happen. And that rewiring process must start from when you begin to adjust the behavioral pattern you've been handed over time by friends and family. Sometimes it could even be where you go to church. I'm sorry, for some of us who are quite religious, at some points in my life, I had to leave where I was worshiping because it was for me, there was so much competition in that environment. I was so much driven by people spend 1 week to prepare what they will wear for the next service. And then you go to the car park, there are so many, everybody's bringing you new cars, everybody's asking and challenging everybody. And all this challenge and competition is not about who is developing the next software. It's not about who is developing the next thing that will create wealth. No, it's a saloon that you're managing. There's a particular place you will worship. You will not go to church again with your car because you're driven to say, if I don't change this car, I will not. Those kind of stuff are things that rewires you to who you not become. As if I can tell you, bankers are one of the largest spenders of money. They are bad managers of money. One of the things that happen to you as a banker is they tell you have to look the part. As a bank treasury manager, you have to look the part. And what do they mean by you have to look the part? Your shoe must be squeaky clean. Your jacket must be on point. Your tie must be it. Your hairline are correct. If you wear glasses, it has to be a designer's one. Come off it. You need money to do all that. But meanwhile, everybody knows that your salary remains the same. Your car must be on point. As a matter of fact, we used to pride ourselves. If you drive one car for 3 years, then as a young banker, we say there's something wrong with you. You got to keep changing and look squeaky clean. Now, whilst you're doing that, you discover at some point you run on a debit. That's why a lot of bankers, by 15th or 20th of the month, the money is finished. No savings. Now you do the bridges. I don't do bridges. What are they saying? You got to move to Lake. You got to move to either Lake 1 or Lake 2. So what are you going to do as a young bank? Then once you do that, move, the children's school will have to
I think we've lost him. Yes, we've lost him. So while we wait for him to reconnect, please, if you have any question, hoping that he will be able to get his audio, fixed properly, kindly drop your questions in the chat. I'll pick the questions from there so that he can attend to them. I think he's back. Can you please unmute him? Okay, he's unmuted. Okay, thank you. So if you have any question, you can just kindly send it to the chat so I can pick from there. Sir, over to you. Well, what a day. Not to have Mr. God'swill address this very important topic. Yeah.
Okay, somebody is saying something. Perhaps you change my position. Yes, it's still raining here, but I'm probably going to change my position and see if it helps. But it's the same smile, but they have messed me up today. If you can hear me, I've had to move to another location in the house. Maybe that will help. I'm so sorry. I'm so frustrated about this.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. I mean, all the while we took this class while I was in America, I didn't have this experience. Now that I'm here, 2 weeks old, I'm already frustrated. I'm drained.
So sorry.
I'm really drained. So yeah, but what we got to do is just manage what we have. That's the reason why you must get your PVC so that we can create a new nation for ourselves, because we can't continue like this as a people. I can't have uninterrupted network for just 1 hour. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I wish could be different than this, but the show must go on. It's just that it's not making it quite interesting for all of us. But I think I stopped at I moved to another room. So one of the things I was talking about earlier is self-discipline and changing your paradigm is one of the major things you need to do around changing your IPO and the operating system that you currently run. These are some of the things that make it difficult for people. I've given an example of where you work, where you worship, the kind of people you hang out with, your friends. They may be contributing to the reason why you're not where they are. I can tell you that for free. They may be a large contributor of why you're not wealthy. Well, the one major large contributor of why wealth has been quite difficult for people in Africa to create consistently is the build-up that we got as children from our family. Most of the people who are wealthy today, if you look back, you find out that the foundation was created by their parents, by their mom, or by their dad. Some of them got involved in family business quite early in life. Some of them got earlier in what the environment was doing. Or some of them were community individuals who had been serving for a very long time before they became an adult. If peradventure you have that foundation, you're a lucky man. But if you don't have that foundation, there's a hope for all of us. The hope for us, all of us, is one of the things that happened to me. I had a little bit of foundation from my mom, but I had to rebuild myself. And what did I do to rebuild myself? I had to change. Like I said, I had to change even where I worshipped, because the competition was driving me crazy. If you remember, I gave you a profile of the fact I started an insurance firm before I moved to banking. I moved to Citizens Bank, where we were the first to have gotten the universal banking, but I had a foundation of an insurance person before I moved to banking. That saved my life. I was an insurer by personality, but I was a banker by profession. That saved my life. That made me understand that, because in insurance, all I taught in insurance was security. I taught savings. I taught risk management as an insurance person. So when I became a banker, I already had those building blocks as a banker. Even though I was earning almost 10 times when I was in an insurance, it was easier for me to live within almost 20% of my earning. At some point in my life, I was 60% of my salary, because I had crashed my lifestyle to a level where I wasn't competing with it. As a matter of fact, in my 5th year as a banker, I was the only officer in that office that had no DSTV. It was bad. I told guys that I had allocated my resources, that resources for DSTV is not enough to buy a DSTV. But what they didn't know was that whilst I was there, I was investing so heavily because I needed to buy a house even before I was 35. It wasn't sexy to do that at that time, but I had made up my mind I was going to get my own house at 35. So there were so many things I couldn't do because I had made a system that rearranged my operating system. So savings became something that was fun for me. So I could live to say, look, if I had to move here, I must qualify for this lifestyle to be able to do that. So that's what I mean by operating system. Now, the input side of it that I've been talking all about is who is feeding you? What are you reading? What are you listening to? That's the input. I'm a ardent believer of modeling your life through a process. I mean, at a point in time in my life, I was a friend of Les Brown. No, I've never met him before, but I've read every tape that he has. I've read every book he has because I saw something around this man that I could feel will help me become that kind of person to create wealth. Or somebody like Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a man that has also taught why every man that lives in Africa, where cash flow is king, can become very comfortable and can become wealthy. All you need to do is to live below your means to a large extent. So that's some of the building blocks that will help you if you want to engage in this journey. And that is where the output, which is wealth creation, is simple if you can adjust your input and your process. The process basically is, what is your foundation in life? What do you think? What's the strength of your mind? What do you think about wealth? Are you among the people who grew up to think that, I don't even know what he's doing. I don't even know what he does for a living. Have you been fed with those concepts in the past as a child that have made you become more not receptive to the idea of creating wealth? I think some of the things that if we adjust them a little bit, you begin to find a different pattern that will help you begin to create a journey that creates more wealth for you. So I think I've answered the first and second question. I don't know, Ayo, if you have another question.
Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to unmute and ask a question? Do we have anyone? Do we have anyone? If there's none, okay, I'll move on. So part of the things that is just going through my mind is, yes.
So, somebody was saying something. I think I had a voice.
Oh. No.
Okay.
Not at all. So one of the things, that has been going through my mind as we're talking is, yes, we have these few things to do. We have to check ourselves. We have to check the environment wherein we grew up in, our mindset. We have to discipline ourselves. By the time we're able to do this, what are the options we have, to begin to create wealth? Apart from savings, we know, yes, we have to invest as well. We know there are quite a number of options when it comes to investment. Which ones, would you suggest we begin to look at, even as we check ourselves, as we begin to, save? Because we know that savings can't really get us to that point of wealth. We have to do beyond savings. We have to invest. So what are the other things we can look at, when it comes to investments and all?
Okay, Ayo, first of all, before I even start, I'm going to thank the person who asked me to change position. I think that has been quite, yes. Thank you very much. I think the person has experience in these things, because it's been quite stable since I moved to another location. Yes. One of the greatest things that I've found over time in the last 20 years of doing this research and getting into this journey is the fact that I like what we are doing in this platform. We have a community of people, right? Currently, if you are aware, the inflation rate in Nigeria is about 18.66. So it's making it difficult for you. You are becoming poorer by the time you wake up. If you have savings in the bank, you wake up the next day, you're poorer than you saved, right? So you need to begin to emerge with platforms that are running faster or running as fast as inflation, right? So building together a community lifestyle is one way to go, because you can't do it alone. Community lifestyle. What do I mean by community lifestyle? I don't know how many of us here who belong to the cooperative societies of organizations. Cooperative societies of organization is a way to leverage your investment platforms. What do I mean by that? If you have a 1 million naira and you have 500 people in the cooperative, and you ask everybody in the cooperative to drop 1 million naira, that will provide 500 million. As a treasury manager, let me tell you what it means. 1 million naira can only get you 4% return on investment per annum as an individual. So it means if I invest as an individual with my 1 million naira, I will only get 4%. But if we invest as a community of 500 million, we will get as much as 10%. And that means 1 million has gotten 10% because we came together as a community of people to play. That's one way. Which community do you belong to? Or what community can you belong to that will help you in the process to do these investments? You can't run away from savings. Marshmallow's principle says if you don't save, you will die. Okay, so savings is number one level for wealth creation journey. I don't care how much it is. I tell people, if you earn 20K and you can't save 2K from the 20K, it means you're doomed. The day you start earning 200, you still have good reasons not to be able to save, because every excuse that I get from people is that the income is not enough, so I can't save. And I'm saying, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with income. Every time you have an income that is not allowing you to save, it means your lifestyle is the problem, not the income. Lifestyle is the problem and not the income. So the reason why a lot of us have maybe migrant income and you're not able to save is that you have not looked at your operating model, which is the P, and adjust different levels of lifestyle. This lifestyle could be, who is my friend? Who are they? This lifestyle could be, what do I have habit for? This lifestyle can be as much as my data plan, can be as small as my recharge cards, can be that small. But you know what? Wealth creation and poverty happens in small pack. It doesn't come big. It happens in small pack. In the things you do small by small, it creates those building blocks, or it destroys the building block for your wealth creation journey. So that's basically one of the things I've just given you one. Another one is engage the investment platform that is involved in selling. Selling. What do I mean investment platform that are involved in selling? Maybe business. Can you invest in businesses that are involved in selling? Why am I an ardent believer of selling? Anytime the prices go up in the market, your unit price of product will go up. So you technically don't lose money if you're involved in selling. Because, for instance, if I invested in somebody who is doing fuel business or diesel business today, and my participation there is 2%. The day they say inflation has moved off, you will discover that the diesel price will go up to get back whatever I think I'm losing, right? Or I'm investing in a consumer products. I mean, I don't know how much we bought. So many of us bought. When I left the country, I bought my gas for 3,500. I got back, and my cook was telling me that gas now is 11,000. And I'm asking, what percentage is that? That's almost 300%. So if I'm involved in that kind of product where inflation is going up, I will automatically increase my price. And then it means that everything will increase. But that one I found interesting, which works for both in Africa and Europe or America, is real estate. And that's one area that everybody under the sound of my voice must find him or herself to play. Let me tell you why I love that investment. The reason why I love that investment is, I don't know, what you pay in your house last year is not what you're paying this year. What you're going to pay next year is not what you're going to pay this year. Whether you like it or not, that's just the way it is. Now, it doesn't just increase in pricing by the rental income. The valuation of your real estate investment keep going up. Keep going up. As against if you had a bond. A bond has a coupon. A bond says the coupon rate for bond is maybe 12%. No matter how much the inflation is going, they are still going to pay you 12%. So you can be making a negative income on your bond, or a negative income on your treasury bill, or a negative income on your equity market, but it's almost difficult to make a negative income on your real estate value. Because the value is going up, your rental income is going up. Because once the economy changes and inflation is eating up, everybody who has a rental space increases in rental income. I mean, a friend of mine last year came to my house, this is just by the way, and he wanted to borrow money from me. I've given this example many times, and it's an example that I love to give. And I say, why? Why do you want to? He said, the landlord just woke up and increased rents from 800 to 1.3 million. I said, no, he didn't just wake up. He didn't just wake up to increase. The economy made it possible for him to increase. So he said, I have his rent, but the increase I don't have. Can you lend me money? I said, no. Go and use the money you have to rent where you have qualified. Don't borrow money to pay the differential. Go down. Go a bit down. Rent where your money can get to. Because if you start borrowing money to pay rent, I don't know, maybe you're going to still borrow money to feed the family. So that's basically one of the areas that I think everybody can play. But let me tell you one of the things, Ayo, my challenge. My challenge is that a lot of people can never save enough to play in the real estate. That's why a community investment comes to play. A community investment comes to play. I tell friends and family, if you cannot buy the house, buy the door. If you can't own a house, can you own the door? If you cannot own the door, can you own the key? All of it is in the real estate. Now you go to buy a real estate and they say a property is worth 100 million. You can't bring 100 million. But together as a community, you can raise 100 million. And my contribution in the 100 million can be 500,000. It means I'm playing in real estate as a fractional owner of that real estate income. So when there is a rental income, I will get a share that is proportionate to my investment. That's what I advocate today. And that's one of the things I want us to go away with today. There's an importance in Africans coming together to build wealth, because that's how the Jew of this world is owning this world today. The Indians are joining. Africans can do it better because a lot of us are community people. Ayo, let me ask one question. When it comes to marriage, we are community people. Somebody gives birth, we are community people. I am going to a wedding, we are community people. But when it comes to money making, we're not community people. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. You know, I grew up as a community person. Why do I know that? There was never a time in my life when I didn't have uncle and aunties and cousins in my house, because we're community people. I just told you an example of how I used to join my mommy in shop. I'm not the only one that used to join mommy in shop. I had other brothers and uncles and cousins who were joining in shop to create something. And I can tell you, everybody listening here, one or two of us share the same level of experience, right? But how come once it comes to wealth creation, that is one area every African wants to do alone? And that's the problem. That's why the journey is too tough for Africans, because we play alone. But let me tell you good news. The good news is that the wealthy people that you know all collaborate. They never do it alone. And that's what came up with the idea of IPO, initial public offering. Initial public offering is about coming together to invest in one organization. How many of us are playing there currently? How many of us are playing fractional ownership of anything? Is there an investment you have that you have to participate as a contributor? That's where to go today. If you want this journey to be easier and simpler, don't do it alone. Find other people that are doing something and join them. That's the best way to go today, because the journey is getting tougher and harder. And if you have not become that kind of person, join people who are doing, so that you can leverage on their experience, leverage on their money, leverage on their risk management abilities, leverage on the outcome of those transactions to participate and get benefits of coming together to play. I think that's one of the greatest areas that we need to look at. But more importantly is, who are you? Who are you? You know, because if I spend all 1 hour here talking to us and I've not been able to redefine who you are, I've wasted my time. Who are you? You know, do you know who you are? Can you find out who you are as an individual? Because that's what will create the direction where your journey will go. Who are you? Do you know? Because who you are will tell me in 5 minutes of meeting with me whether you will ever create wealth or not. You know, I told you there's going to be bad news, Ayo. The bad news is that some of us have been so wired that we will never be wealthy. I'm sorry. The operating system we currently have will never allow us to be wealthy. Is there hope? There is hope. But you must, first of all, get that self-awareness to know where to solve it. Some of us have been wired in a manner that will never allow us to create wealth. One of the things you may need to do is begin to get a mentor. Is there anybody out there who you appreciate so much, who has done this work in a manner that you like, that you can become a mentee on that? Is there somebody out there you need to learn under their footsteps? I'm big on apprenticeship. I mean, I believe in it so much that everything I want to do in my life, I like to be an apprenticeship. My mentor journey and mentorship today for wealth creation started when I met somebody. I met somebody in my banking career who I said, I like what you have done. Can I learn? Can I learn under your footsteps? And he said, look, yes, you can learn. But the assignment for you to start learning, there are a particular number of books you need to read. He wrote it down, wrote all the books down. By the time I calculated the book was about 210 pieces of book. Say, are you ready? I say, yes, I'm ready. This man made me read one book in a week. Every week I'm reading one book. And you know how bad it was? He had the book. He said he will not borrow me, that I will go and get it where they borrow and pay money. He said, because if I borrow you my book, you will not be disciplined with it. So he introduced me to a bookshop where you can borrow book and pay money and return it. For every week the book stays with you, you pay more money. So because of that, I didn't have more money to pay every week. I was ensured that in 1 week of borrowing, I must finish it. So in 2 years, I read one book every week, in 2 years. Because that's what my mentor said, that was the prerequisite to learn. And let me tell you, by the time we're done, he looked at my face and said, do you still think we need to talk? Because I'm sure that you have become something you have never been before. And what is he saying? For you to do what you have never done before, Ayo, you must first become whom you have never been before. I met a man who made me become, who changed my mindset to the wealthy language, who created wealth language with me, who changed my paradigm to understand that I can become wealthy. Because when I look at where I'm coming from, where I've been, I can never create wealth. But I met a man who poured himself, who showed me by the ropes, who taught me the rudiment, who showed me this place is deep, this place is shallow, who pulled me by my hand and led me to the journey. And after 2 years, I have known no area of wealth that I has not helped me to learn. And I think for me, that's a summary of this. Do you need to become something in this journey? Don't be in a hurry to start telling somebody, what investment are you doing now? No, that can help you. Because if I tell you all the investments that I'm doing and I've not helped you to become that person, you will not even know what you're doing. You will not be able to sustain the longevity or the staying power required for that journey, because it's a long-term journey. It's a long-term life journey. And I'm hopeful that in learning this, we will also be able to teach our children, teach people, because I'm an ardent believer of the Jewish system. When a Jew man is a wealthy, he can be rest assured that the children and the children will become wealthy, not by impartation, not by impartation. It's not by praying. It's not by telling your children to kneel and let me impart it. You can't impart it. Wealth does not understand impartation language. You only understand principles and adjustment of lifestyle over a long period of time. And then once that is achieved, wealth, which is the O, becomes an outcome. You can literally become wealthy not doing any other thing, because the easiest thing to do in Africa, becoming wealthy, is easy. But what is difficult is the lifestyle. Everybody knows what to do to lose weight. But they're not going to leave their Coca-Cola. They're not going to forget their Sprite. When you bring cake in the office, they will eat. You know why? Because knowing what to do to lose weight is not the issue. Being disciplined enough to do it is where the problem is. And for you to become disciplined, you need to become. Thank you very much, guys. I think we may need to have any other questions. Yes. Thank God for this new position that I am now. I'm enjoying it. I mean, even the place, I've never used it before. I'm going to start using it now. Thank you fully, the person who introduced that I changed my position. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Motorayo. It was actually Motorayo that told you what to do. We are so grateful. Thank you so much, sir. We have 2 questions. One by Mr. Caleb, whose hands is up. Then we have another one here that I captured from the charts. So we'd like Mr. Caleb to go first. Then we'll now move on to the next one I have captured from the chat. Please unmute yourself, sir. Or please unmute Mr. Caleb, please. Admin, please unmute him so that I can speak. Okay, while we wait for him to be unmuted, I think I can ask this. Okay, yes. Okay, great.
Thank you very much. Though I just joined, not quite long. The speaker spoke sense, but there's a challenge, especially, Africans, let me just say Black Africans, Nigerians, who have issue of trust and management. So in terms of, community wealth creation, how can we solve issue of trust? If, for example, I can call a few people and say, guys, you know what, bring for 5 million, let's do something. So I was, this 5 million, if I give an hour, I go get them. So how do we manage, issue of managing these resources and the issue of trust? How do we solve that? It's a major problem. Please, I need your insight on this.
Okay, Mr. Will, is he still there? I think we lost him. Whoa, he's not in at the moment. Wow. Okay, I hope you'll be able to join us again. But yes, I know that trust is something that a lot of us grapple with, especially in this side of the world. But I've come to realize or believe that you will be able to find people of like minds, as we seek, as you rub minds, as you test. Maybe you won't start with the bulk of your resources, Okay, someone says iPhone says you should unmute him. I think that's Mr. Will. Please, I unmute iPhone. Please unmute iPhone. Admin, please unmute iPhone. I think that's Mr. Will. You've muted all of us. Please unmute iPhone, please. Okay, let me see if I can unmute him.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I think what happened when she muted Caleb. I lost contact. I guess I was muted. I don't know.
Oh, okay. He was asking
about. I didn't hear what he said.
Huh? Yes, he was asking about trust. That how do we manage trust when it comes to community investment? That's one of the things that we feel it's a big problem, a big challenge.
Let me tell you, I can tell you that one for free. I've been a banker all my life. As a treasury manager or the guys who are paying money at the counter, you know how many millions they pay out every day. Now, what happens there? Systems and processes are being used to bring trust back into the business. Don't trust anybody, but use a system and process to protect everybody. Don't go telling people to contribute money into somebody's personal account for a particular business, because we trust the person. And that's why you see some people, you see people who do a susu and a job, and they're using my wife's account to be doing a susu and a job. There is no way you keep loading money into my account, and I will have a mother who is in the hospital. I won't want to borrow the money small so that I can return it. It's in borrowing small, and the money will disappear. Now, so what do? You create a system. How do you create a system? Don't you ever put money in a community investment without first identifying all the risk metrics and fixing the risk. Risk management is one of the major issues in investment that has created a lot of investment to go bad. Risk management. I was going to do something with a client. A client called me and said, look, some people are coming. They want me to invest in what I'm doing. Come and join me in the meeting. The investment looked good, but I only had one problem. The money was going to pay into the account of the managing director. And I said, I'm not comfortable. He said, no, this guy has done billions of naira. I said, I know. What if he dies this night? They said, what do you mean? Are you not watching him? I said, no, just ask a question. I said, if we put this money into his account today and he doesn't wake up this night, what happens? That was how the meeting went over. Because a system has not been put in place to say, if this guy is not available, this is who will be available. And that created a system that allows more than 1, 2, 3, 4 people to be signatories to the account. And then we created a system that allows for withdrawal to happen, A, B, C must happen. For withdrawal of A to happen, B, C, D must happen. You created a structure, systems around it. Because let me tell you, don't trust anybody, any system or any community that have not identified the risk matrix or risk structures around it. Do not put your money in it. It's as simple as that. So don't bring any business into trust, because in banking, we don't trust anybody, but we have put systems in place to ensure that the man who is paying that money cannot take anyone into his pocket. As a matter of fact, it's so bad that when you are a counter, you don't go into the counting with your bag. That's how bad it is, because we don't trust anybody. And that's the mechanism and the mentality for business. You know, yeah, you say, I trust this guy. No, you can trust him. He's a good man. He's a character. His character is impeccable. But let me tell you, something can go wrong with him and your money will never come back because he doesn't even have the capacity to pay back. Have you wondered how many Ajo women on the road who collect millions of naira for people? Once they die, everybody goes into frenzy. I've been involved in many. We trust this man. This woman has been doing this business for 15 years. Pray that nothing happens to him or her. And then that's how you see all the money of people's money go down the drain. And that's my answer for that. System and structure is what you use to solve the problem, not trust. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I was speaking in another direction, but from experience, you've actually brought everything together, systems and structures. You know, there's something PF always says, that systems are not emotional.
Exactly.
Systems are not emotional. And I absolutely agree with you from from what you said just now. Just put systems and structures in place, then trust will definitely, you'll just find out that it works. You just find out what the process you have in place just works. Thank you so much for that. There's a question someone sent in. It says, do you advise one still going to buying a house now with the crazy inflation and the high rate of interest on loans? So I guess this person wants to pick loan to get this house. What do you think, sir?
I am a banker by profession. I've been banking all my life. Right now, I will not advocate anybody take a loan to buy a house. You can only take a loan for a commercial activity. Commercial activity. What do I mean by commercial activity? If you're involved in buying and selling, and you're selling something that is high in demand, you can always unload your interest on the new prices you put on your prices. Okay? So only take loan for commercial transaction in trading. Trading. Because once there's an adjustment, you adjust your price. So you never really have to be the one paying for those increments that happens with loans. Your customers or your off-takers are the one paying. I don't know. I didn't tell you a little bit about my real estate experience. Maybe Praise would say that some other time. I've been involved in real estate in the last 15 years. I have developed more than 150 apartments in Lagos. And I am doing that even in Lagos and currently America. So I can tell you for free that when you borrow money to buy a house and there's something I tell people, interest does not know public holiday. Interest is the only thing that does not sleep. While you're sleeping, it's dropping. While there is a holiday, everybody's going home to rest. Interest does not rest. It will drop in your account. So because of that, it runs faster than your income. It runs faster than income in your real estate, especially in Africa. We don't have mortgage loans in Africa, but we have in America and London and Europe, where their interest for housing is in 1 digit. Okay, but in Africa, we give loan to people for a house as if it's a commercial transaction. They are pricing housing loan as if you're doing buying and selling, where somebody comes and say our loan for house is 21%. I say, wow, it means in 5 years the money will double. That's what it means. If your interest in housing is 20%, what the guy is telling you that is in 5 years, you would have doubled how much you collected from us just by interest. The question is the house increasing in value by 20% annually? It means if you buy a house with loan, you have a negative return on investment, except if you can make it up with your rental income. And I doubt it. So I rather you combine with people to build a house. Combine with people, and if you're going to build 4 apartments, combine with people. If at the end of the day, what comes out is 1 apartment for you, so be it. If at the end of the day, what comes out for you is half of the apartment, so be it. As long as Nigerian banks do not know how to loan money for housing. It's a commercial transaction for them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Someone is asking, oh, okay, we'll take this. Okay, I have two questions here. I'm considering buying into a business. How do I value the business independent of the price the owner is giving? Okay. That's one question.
Yeah, I can answer that one straight away. Don't go into buying investment without a financial advisor. Don't try it, because people will evaluate their investment based on more of emotion. I have been running business for a very long time. This is the worth of the value. But when you have a financial advisor, they will come up with 4 different models to show you the true value of that business. And once the price you're paying for that business is more than the valuation the financial advisors have given you, please walk away. Walk away. You know, what financial advisor will charge money for it. I'm an ardent believer that if you want anything valuable to happen in your life, pay for it. Don't come to me, can't go people to say, please, I need your advice. I need you to mentor me, and you're not willing to pay for it. No, don't go that cheap. You know, I will maybe in some time, I will help you see how much it has cost me as an individual to meet certain kind of people to pick their brain, to meet certain kind of people to advise me, and I pay for that service. You know, you must understand that this journey is, you must commercialize your life. You must run your life like a business. Don't go moving into people who are very busy to take their time, take their energy, and you're not willing to pay for it. You're not going to get the most value. You're going to get cheap products out there. You know, so if you have made up your mind, you want to invest in somebody's business, get yourself a financial advisor. And the guy said, this business, we're going to get 100K or 250 to advise you. You are the one that want to pay 2.5 million. Or you say, no, it's too much. I can't pay too. What are they advising? Somebody's asking you to pay 5% for what you're about to invest. You say no. But you watch that same amount of money disappear in 5 years. Because you just didn't do, or you refuse to go in the direction of professionals. It's so bad that I can't touch a house without a valuer. A valuer must tell me the value. I don't care what the value, what the owner of the house has put there. The valuer will charge me 150K to give me the true value of the house. And some of the houses, after the valuer, we may not even buy it. Somebody will say, that means you have lost 150. No, we have not lost 150. We have paid 150,000 to secure 20 million. That's the way to look at it. I have paid 150K to save me the agony of investing 15 million in a property that would have cost me havoc. It's not a waste. Sir, you have wasted that money. No, you didn't waste it. You just found out using 150K to save yourself 15 million of trouble that will happen tomorrow. You can't buy a house without doing a search. A lawyer will go and do a search on the property and charge you 100K. Are you saying you're not going to do a search or pay for that? The person will finish the search and tell you the property has a bad title. You walk away. It's not a waste. It's part of ways to find out, identifying the risk in a business and either mitigating the risk or walking away from those risks. So be willing to pay for the service.
Thank you so much, sir. I have another question. The person is asking, what is a sensible profit margin on consumable goods? She said someone suggested to use inflation rate as a base.
No, inflation rate is annualized, but return on investment on transactions are not annualized. So it may be wrong if you use inflation rates, right? For instance, if a pure water, a unit price of pure water is a one bottle, you used to use 100 naira to produce one bottle, and then you sell it for 105 naira. It means you're making 5% return on investment on that one bottle. It's still far, far less than inflation. But when you look at the volume, the cycle of your business, how fast you can convert your business, or how many of that bottle you can sell in 1 month, you will almost be able to do either 50% ROI or 100% ROI because of volume. Okay? What will guide you is the volume of sale, not the unit in return on investment on that sale, because that may be a bit deceptive. If the volume is high, 1% can become 100% in 1 year if the volume is high. So using inflation is just a guide, but don't use that as your basis because it may be deceptive. Because inflation is annualized, while return on investment on sales is on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. So when you annualize it, it will give you the true value of whether inflation is there or not. But inflation changes every day, but is heavily annualized over 1 year period. I don't know whether that has helped.
Thank you so much. I believe the person should be able to pick something from there. I think we've exhausted the questions we have here. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Some people are asking for the title of some of the books.
That's a long one.
What do you have to say to that?
You may need to sit down and put. There are so many books out there that I have lost count. I mean, one of my greatest expense in life has been training and training and training. By the way, the number one investment you must make in your life is to invest in yourself. Even before you start buying those assets, you are the best assets. You are the number one asset. The question is, how much have you invested in yourself first? So it's very critical that you put so much money training yourself and getting more knowledge. My number one book I recommend for a basic understanding of this journey is The Richest Man in Babylon. This book is so small. It's so small. I'm not sure it's up to 100 pages, but it touches the core of how to become. How to become. The next one I'll talk about is The Millionaire Next Door. Because I wasn't told I was going to recommend any book, but I'm thinking of the ones that can come to mind right now. Millionaire Next Door. Millionaire Next Door is telling you that the guy by your roadside, a barber, can become a millionaire while you're watching him barb people's hair. Because hello, did you get the second one? Millionaire Next Door. Okay, somebody wrote it. Who all wrote it? Millionaire Next Door. Okay. Another one is the Millionaire Mindset. The Millionaire Mindset is the one that will create an understanding of who you also need to become in that journey. Urora, thank you very much. I appreciate what you're doing. Okay. So, but what I can do is that I can do at least 20 books between now and end of the year. If you're very serious, these days things are easier. You don't even need to buy those books. All you need to do is have a good data, like I and Praise do most of the times. You can never catch me anywhere sitting down empty. I must be listening to either a podcast or a video or whatever it is. This time around, some of these books I mentioned, you may just need to go online and listen to the video, and then you are there. I mean, you don't have to buy them like I did many years ago when I was buying. But now you can just sit down and the confines of an Uber, and by the time you get to where you're going, you have finished one book. Okay? So I will take time and put together a 20 books item and send to you, Ayo, and then you can distribute to our tribe members over time. But the ones I've just given you right now are the ones that can come to mind because they are quite basic that you can lay your hand on. Another one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. One of the things I learned from that book is he helped to define what is an asset and what is a liability. Another one is Unfair Advantage. Unfair Advantage is also by Robert Kiyosaki. That will also help you understand that the major unfair advantage you can create in this journey is to train yourself so that you become a magnetor of wealth, even as you move along. And that's why somebody will tell you, if you strip me of everything I have today and dump me in another country, give me another 12 years, give me another 20 years, he will recreate everything he lost because he has first become. It's not the environment that means we will be in wealth, is who he has become. And that's what my end game is. How do I help each and every one of us become a magnetor of wealth? Not by impartation, by what you will learn over time and the things you will discard over time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godswill. We really appreciate. Someone was asking
you,
a question as regards the agro investments that crashed over the last year. I couldn't really get what the person wanted, really. If you can unmute yourself, I think Adejumoke Shongolano, please, you can unmute yourself so that we can know what's the question you're trying to, what exactly you would want him to speak to. Because he just mentioned that the agro investment that crashed last year, the losses. What exactly do you want? What's the question you would like him to speak to? Can you please unmute? Yeah.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity. So, basically, like, what could some of us as investors have done differently, and not to have incurred such losses? Because these are more like communal investments, like you mentioned earlier, which people just then bought into, and then it went bad. So, what could have been done differently on the part of the prospective investors?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very many years ago, I kept telling a lot of people who cared to listen that that was a Ponzi scheme and never an investment. You know, I kept telling everybody who cared to listen. People who came to me personally to ask me, none of my mentees ever did agro investment. The reason is because they were all Ponzi schemes. They were never investments. They just called them investments. Now, why do I say that? Investment has characteristics. This investment didn't have those characteristics. So the risk management framework around those investments was very poor. So a lot of people who put money there never contacted a financial advisor to advise them. So they went because my friend is doing it. My friend is doing it. My friend has gotten 10%. My friend has gotten 15%. No financial advisor was involved in that decision-making process. And that's why because when all you needed to ask is, can I see the 3-year financial report of that business? They will never give it to you. Once you want to go into an investment, if it's not the first year that investment is on, and the investment has been available for 2 years, 3 years, request for the financials, request for audited accounts, request for the regulators of that business, request to see income statement to show that this business is actually making money. Because most of the return that people were being paid were not paid by profits. They were paid by collecting Mr. A's money and sharing it among Mr. B and C. And that's how the business was. So there was no real investment. It was just a Ponzi scheme, my dear. Unfortunately so. That's what it was. So when you say the business crashed from the day you put your money there. But you just didn't see it. It was just an accident waiting to happen. And so when it happened, it was there. It was going to happen. And there are so many investments today in our environment that has the semblance of those kind of investments. Yesterday was agro. I can tell you, next year is going to be another product offering. But if you become an investor, you become a magnet of somebody who can see these things from afar. And that's the reason why I'm having this conversation with you today. So that you don't need to call me on phone to know that this investment is bad or this investment is good, because you have become that individual. So what could you have done better? Get a financial advisor. If you don't have a financial advisor, request for financials from those individuals who are doing it, and then send it to somebody to analyze for you. Don't you ever do any investment alone, or my friends are doing it. Because, in this environment, blind people are leading the blind. And that's why all of us are ending up in the ditch one by one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godswill. You've been such an amazing lesson to us this afternoon. Please, if you're in the chat, I'd like you to just, say thank you to him. Just let's go there and tell him thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't go yet, because we're going to do something quickly. I know quite a number of us, are already saying, how do I get the book? How do we get ourselves involved in community investment and things like that? I'm going to drop some links on the group chat now, and I want you to click on the one that resonates with you. So if you're based in Africa and others, you click on that group. If you're based in North America, if you're based in Europe and UK, if you're based in Northern Nigeria, Southern Nigeria, I would want you to click on the group. So I'm going there now to drop this on the group. Thank you so much, Mr. God's Will, for joining us today. We are really, really, really so grateful. So I'm going into the group chat now, to drop the links, and I would want you to just click on what you have. Okay, I have 2 people still raising up their hands. While I do where I share the link for people to join the WhatsApp group, please, sir, can you attend to them? Please unmute yourself, Victoria Iroro. Unmute yourself, and admin, if she's not yet unmuted, please do that. And we have Olubumi Ajose as well. Please let's unmute them so that Mr. Godswill can attend to them. I will be dropping the links in the group so that we can join. If we click on these groups, it will take us to some WhatsApp groups. Let's just be a part of that. From there, we will be able to share necessary information with us from time to time. So you'll be able to get the list of books by the time I have them from Mr. Godswill. So please let's unmute people. Victoria Iroro, please let's unmute her. Okay, she's unmuted. Please speak.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing seminar. I have 2 questions. I actually put it on the group chat. I don't know why the admin didn't say the questions. You've given us the titles. My first question is that in addition to the titles of the books earlier requested, that would be quite helpful. Would you kindly be a mentor to us, or specifically to any one of us who is interested? That's the first question. Second question is, yes, we've heard all the principles behind doing business. But whilst we're reading the books and trying to get the rudiments, and we have some money to invest, do you have any trading or investment activity that we or anyone interested here can participate in? I truly like the door or key investment advice you gave us. That is community investment that is tried and tested. So because you have been in this for so long, I mean, there could be something that is upcoming that you have verified that is good, and you suggest to us, and it's for us to buy in. I mean, if we have 500,000, 200,000, 100,000, or even $1 million, as the case may be, so we can be part of that business that will be making money whilst we're studying, because these books we have to read. Thank you very much.
Please, can you unmute Mr. Will? He's muted. Please, let's unmute him. Admin, please, can we do that?
Yeah, thank you, Victoria. I think I got first one is just basic issue. If you can hear me, am I available to mentor? Why not? This platform is a very strong platform, and I've committed to be part of what we are doing on this platform. Yes, that is available. Do we have a community-based investments that are available? Praise and a group of guys are doing something, because we are becoming tired of referring people to things other people are doing. Can you hear me, Ayo?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Whilst in America, in US, we have a couple of friends who are also in America who we decided to see what we can put together for people to invest, because we have trusted individuals and we will hold ourselves accountable to them. So just keep your ear glued on ground on what is going on this platform. You will get to hear some of the things that are happening. Some of them could be investments in Africa, America, and even UK that allows everybody who is a member of this platform to be part of. So without jumping any gun, I think it's just patient so that we can cook the kind of meal that is good enough for everybody to eat at some point in the life journey of this. So that's all I can say.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So For those of us who wants to get to know more, get more information, I've dropped some links for you on the chat. Please look at it and see the one that's, and Europe, we have North America, we have Africa and others, which includes South Africa and other places, East Africa. We have Northern Nigeria, we have Southern Nigeria that, speaks to you so that you can always get information on those platforms. Yeah, you'll get as much information on this platform. So please, let's click on the links that we dropped in the chat right now. We have the one for Southern Nigeria, Northern Nigeria, UK and Europe, Africa and others, and North America. So even the books that we are asking for, by the time we have a comprehensive list, we'll be able to drop on this group. So please, let's go in there now and join the groups. Let's go in there and join the groups, please. Thank you, everyone. I hope you're already doing that. Yes, I'm already seeing people joining. Yes, so we have Southern Nigeria, UK already joining, Northern Nigeria, North America. Thank you so much. So please, let's keep joining so that we can get all the information that we need per time. Thank you. I would like to say thanks again to Mr. God's Will. You've been such a huge blessing. Someone said I need to resend the link. Okay. Okay, can someone just help me do that? Just do a copy and paste of all the links that I've sent on the group. Admin, please, can you help me do that? Just do a copy and repaste on the group. Yeah. So thank you so much. Our last meeting will be next Sunday for this season. We'll be going on break by August to reconvene in September, but we'll meet next week by God's grace so that we can just wrap up for this season, take some rest and reconvene in September. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for being a part of today's meeting. I know that we've been so